Welcome into another episode of your boys, the Dumb Marks Podcast, your favorite Saturday brunch bunch, back at it again, live and in living color. We have no intro to the pod this week because all of our videos are magically gone. So we have no music, no intro, no nothing, but that don't matter. You want to know why it don't matter? Because I'm running the ship this week. Okay, I'm at the helm. I step up in the face of adversity. I overcome obstacles.
So that's the problem.
It's,
Right?
Give me your Tomlin speech. Best Tomlin.
We don't blink on our fears, okay? We keep the eyelids open, right? The standard is the standard.
We don't piss down our legs. We give it a team in all three phases.
And this will not be a first round exit. I can tell you that much. We're here to pod today, okay? We're not going to shit the bed and come in and put a dud out there. No. No. The truth teller is down there in the bottom right with the closed face up, looking like he's about to be the main character in The Wire season 9, out here slinging rocks, puffer vest on.
Yeah, it's a close-up because I'm on my phone and I'm completely locked out of my computer. Don't know why. So who the hell knows? And who knows how long I'll be on this podcast because my phone only got so much left charging it because I wasn't expecting this.
There's a lot of truth to talk about this week, so I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah. TikTok's going away tomorrow and just everything
pops up. Yeah.
Just falling apart. Falling apart.
It gets fixed Monday. Don't worry about it.
I bet they hit the social media power grid and this is what happens.
Yeah. I have no idea if anybody's watching the show because my chat is completely blank. So I don't know if people are actually watching the show or not. Like, we can't.
What's up, Nate?
We have Nate in the comments. That's not happening. We don't want
Nate's great. And let's keep that away. There's nothing showing from a comment standpoint on my end. I can't view anything. So whoever can see the comments are going to have to man that today. We're going to make a pivot live. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on. I guess all them the America's birthday comments got us in trouble apparently because
y'all might be talking too much truth down there.
Yep, I have no comments either, Steve. Nothing.
But no, how we living? How we feeling? Everybody good?
I'm pissed now, but
I got comments now.
Right. I got nothing. Yeah. I'm blank still.
I'm about to pull a Ric Flair. Restream, kick us off. I'm already fired.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll crash the pod. No, we're here. Snowy week in the Burgh, getting ready for like negative 10, 12 degrees coming up the following week here. So prayers to everybody that's out there for this polar vortex.
That's a good one, Nate.
Yeah.
How am I the only one out here with a shoveled sidewalk?
You're not.
The guy who doesn't shovel snow. I'm the only one out here on my street.
Oh, okay.
With a shovel sidewalk. I've seen somebody shovel once, and that was when initially, like weeks ago. How am I the only one?
That's why.
DJ, he's getting ready.
Yeah, joining Aces and Eights for sure. He's the long lost cousin of brother Devon. Brother Donald down there today. Yes, sir. So you know how we do.
Jason, to actually start going out and shoveling because you're adamant not doing it, but I figured you'd wait for this past couple of days till it warmed up above freezing. Just been like, okay, it's good.
I'm trying to do my due diligence, and I'm the only one.
Well, you kept your due diligence. You lost the white women on your shirt, but you got an all white hat on, so you're still keeping up with
great.
Did you go to Fire Fest this week?
Yeah. Jason's the only one in Pittsburgh that doesn't want nothing to sell the team. Look at him supporting.
There's a pod we can cover.
Yeah. So no, we're at it, back at it again as we normally do, giving you everything from the week that was in pro wrestling. We got our Mount Rushmores and Mushes of the week, as well as, whenever I'm at the helm, we got a little additional topic here with the wrestling roulette wheel. spin the wheel, see what number it lands on, picked by the co-host of the show here, and we'll get into some deep dive topics and save the rest for that. So with that being said, I got a little preference here with the wrestling roulette numbers. Number 3 is off the board. Okay, meaning topic number 3 I'm gonna save before we get into our game here this week. So we'll you cannot pick topic number 3 as
Number
an
3
option.
horse is scratched for the race.
Scratch for the race. Hopefully they'll get back in later on. Do not add them to your trifecta bet because it will not hit and you will not get a payout. So with that being said, Donald down there with the puffer vest on, saying it with your chest. Give me a number 1 through 6 except number 3. 1 through 6 except 3.
Give me number 6.
All right, number 6. So this week, Bad Bunny did an interview and he allegedly dropped that WWE Backlash will take place in Mexico City this year. As we know, the past couple of years, Backlash has been the hottest international crowd that WWE has gone to. If the rumors are true and WWE Backlash is in Mexico City this year, 1 through 10, how would you rate the crowd in Mexico?
Oh, 10.
Definitely like a high 8, 9. Yeah, they go crazy for wrestling down there.
Probability of it happening, -10.
Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the particular venue. Arena Mexico, where AAA normally does stuff. I don't know where that's actually located at. I don't know if it's in Tijuana or what the actual venue would be in Mexico City. But do you think we get the Mexican wrestling fan tradition of throwing money into the ring with a 5-star match that may or may not be on the card for WWE Backlash? Do we see the pesos get thrown into the ring?
Why not? It's a tradition. I mean, we got streamers throwing up here, so why not?
Streamers, toilet paper.
I seen Terry Funk ask for chairs, and chairs was thrown in the ring.
It's very true. It's very true. Are you okay?
Plays out.
Are you okay with Backlash? And there's other international pay-per-views, but are you okay if WWE makes Backlash like the international staple pay-per-view?
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay. Oh yeah.
I think like the Jaguars going overseas every year. Yeah.
We'll get into that owner in a little bit for sure. There's a lot to talk about, not just with the Jaguars franchise, but with that wrestling promotion that is AEW as well. So, I think I'd be okay. I'd be okay if Backlash was that signature international pay-per-view.
Backlash almost had that stigma for a while. Whenever they were using it, like you could almost forget it.
Yeah.
So this kind of is breathing some new life into it. So I'm cool with the crowd's what's putting it over almost.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if we'll get, as hot of a crowd as we had in Puerto Rico and as we had in Paris last year, but they definitely have a standard to live up to. So everybody down there better come ready to rock and roll based on what those last 2 years have been like as far as a crowd interaction with the pay-per-view itself. And then is this going to be the first big-time event held in Mexico for WWE? I couldn't remember another one.
They do house shows, but I personally don't remember a pay-per-view ever being held there.
Yeah, me either. So I mean, obviously you're gonna have Ray there. You got a certain debuting star that debuted Monday night, which we can get into with another wrestling roulette topic. But if it's the first ever WWE pay-per-view in Mexico City, Mexico, I think that crowd's going to go bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition, though, because like I said, it was an alleged spoiler put out there by Bad Bunny. WWE neither confirmed nor denied it from anything that I saw the rest of the week. So
someone has to approve it. We'll see.
Well, I mean, who knows? There may be extra tariffs added to your ticket price if you go down for that event. I don't know.
Definitely will be.
Yeah. All right, so that's topic one off the board there on the wrestling roulette wheel this week. Jason, with your chance of sarcasm down there, give me another number 1 through 5, not counting 3.
3. No, give me 2.
All right, 2. It was reported this week that Saturday night's main event and AEW All In Texas will both occur on the same night on July 12th. Does Saturday night's main event impact the pay-per-view buys for All In Texas?
I don't think so.
For me, right now, after the last one, no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They got to over deliver on this one to make Saturday night's main event, a must watch event.
Well, we got it coming up this week, right? Yeah. Next Saturday, we'll get the next iteration of Saturday night's main event. I think bringing back some of the old school guys that they had for the first one, that part of the nostalgia feel will go away. Hopefully they keep the ring ropes and all that, like keep that part there, like make that special in that regard, right? The red, white, and blue ropes have the I know they revamped the Raw referee shirts, but go back to the blue collar with the ties, right? Like let's keep that and keep that Saturday night main event theme song there so that it does stand out.
The neon entrance, the way they did that with the LED boards, love that.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna keep on watching for the sake of watching, but it still feels like it's going to be another
Battle of the Belts
house show.
Exactly, Battle of the Belts.
The Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
The way it keeps going to be Battle of the Belts and AEW, that's going to suck anyway. So my Saturday night's free.
I mean, we got all. I think they're going to load up for All In Texas. I really do. Like, I think you'll get Omega Okada on that show. I think you'll get, and this is a far out there prediction. And if this was on FanDuel, I'd have like plus 4,000-5,000 odds right now. I think you're going to get Athena and Mercedes at All In Texas. I think that's going to be for the belt. Maybe a title versus title since Mercedes is on a belt collector gimmick right now. She got 4 around her waist. So
I was going to say, who collects the belts there?
We'll see. But I think that will be two of your main event matches there.
Cool.
Mercedes and Athena, and then Okada Omega.
Now, when is All In Texas?
That's All In Texas. Yep.
Yeah. What you said it's in July?
July 12th.
Yeah.
July 12th.
That Texas heat.
Yeah.
I'll be on vacation, so I know what I'm doing.
I mean, that just means Mercedes
not going to Texas.
Not watching. Not watching. That's what you do.
If they're saying that's on the card, that just means everybody's Mercedes faces from now on. It's just going to
be I mean, like when they were doing the promos and all that for All In Texas, Athena was there. She's from Texas, right? Like,
makes sense.
To me, you gotta have her on the card. You got time to build her up over the course of the next 6 months. That's a match that she's called for personally with Mercedes, right? I don't think those two ever touched in WWE. So, and based on where both women are at right now, like, yeah, I definitely need Athena in a big time role coming up here in 2025 in AEW, and that's a little foreshadowing for our game that we have in store for later on in this episode.
She'll be discussed more than once apparently then.
Yeah. So, all right. So those
Donald got taken out.
Those were two topics here. Chris, give me a number 1, 4, 5.
Let's go 4.
4. All right.
I was going to say we got a 4-man booth, but Donald ducked out right before that. So.
Yeah, that's all right. Number 4 this week, it was announced through a press release, which glad there's still traditional press releases going on. Like that was like a breath of fresh air when this news came across the wire in an official press release. But WWE and TNA announced this week a multi-year partnership moving forward. The press release came out. There were some comments in the press release from both head of Anthem as well as Shawn Michaels,
Oh, God,
talking
Howie.
about the advantages to the partnership for the talents across not just Impact and NXT, but also potential main rosters from Raw and SmackDown going to NXT as well. So this was not just a singular NXT TNA partnership, it's WWE and TNA partnership. Going forward, since we know the partnership's announced, we saw Masha Slamovich in the crowd on NXT on Tuesday night. What are some of the matchups you'd like to see? Who would you like to go where? And how does this ultimately play out as far as the health of both companies?
Well, let's bring up Jordan Grace's tweet this week. She said to bookmark because she believes that there will be an Ultimate X at WrestleMania. What do you think the likelihood of that?
Now, I would be all for an Ultimate X match at WrestleMania.
I don't know if
All
that's
for it.
something WWE would be interested in doing, but it would,
Hey, you have so many nights. You got 2 nights, so you can put some stuff in there.
Yeah,
bro. If you ran the Andre the Giant Battle Royal for how many years at WrestleMania, you can throw an Ultimate X in, right? Like
more so. I'm
You
just
could do-
wondering, just
you could
because
do-
of the injury chances in that type of
Mhm.
match. That's
But you have how many multi-man Money in the Bank type matches did they do? There's always a multi-man ladder match for some title. We saw the tag team titles with Austin Theory and Truth and Miz winning, right, a couple years ago. So I don't see why you wouldn't put it on one night.
I mean, that would be, without knowing the participants, that could easily steal the show.
Yeah.
For that style match, because if the WWE audience isn't familiar with the match, they would go crazy for it.
Not only that, but if you take the right people in WWE and throw them into that match,
Would you put any main roster guys in it, or will you just be selectively NXT?
Yeah, this is what DJ is bringing up. This is what I was thinking more. That
Okay.
this would be like
stand and deliver.
Yeah, like maybe we'll actually get that TNA versus NXT event. The Worlds Collide that we've talked about and has been rumored out there. Instead of getting just a stand deliver, you actually get like a crossover event before Mania.
I mean, if you put it on Mania weekend and do it that way, that's Friday night NXT stand and deliver, TNA, Worlds Collide, whatever you want to call it, and then Saturday night 1, Sunday night 2, Raw.
It probably wouldn't be Friday because of SmackDown, but they've been doing NXT like noon on Saturday the past couple years. But
if you're running that type of show and it is a crossover event, I don't want them going on at noon on Saturday. Like, to me, that's a bigger feel. That's a bigger vibe. You have WrestleMania week leading into it. So
unless they would do it in place of Impact Thursday night,
that would be the thing.
Yeah.
But you have Hall of Fame on.
Steve, you just froze.
So is the Hall of Fame on Thursday night now?
They haven't announced. The past couple of years, that's been right after SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because they keep the set going and then just move into that. But they haven't officially said anything yet on that.
Does this partnership allow for TNA talent to remain in TNA?
That's the main thing I was thinking. How does this change contracts now? Jordan's contract's up. Does she officially sign with WWE like we thought, or does she stay in TNA and do both? Same with Joe Hendry. Everybody thought as soon as his contract would be up, he'd be heading over to WWE. Does this change anything? Josh Alexander's another one. This is rumored to be his last event tomorrow. Does this affect anything with his contract?
I mean, Alexander said on, I believe it was on Chris Van Vliet, that he wants to test free agency. He's never been out there on the market. His stock is as high as a pro wrestler. So he definitely wants to check the vibes and see what else is out there from an opportunity standpoint. But if this is gonna, give him the ability to cross over while still being TNA, etc., like, and not for nothing, but with Genesis tomorrow night, him and Santana, I would hate that to be just a one-off.
Yeah.
Because to me, they got the ability to go into a feud that works and elevates and everything else without a title.
And something that kind of made me think about it with Alexander, we talked about last week, and then the rumors changed this week. Rumor was Scott D'Amore has potential to maybe be in NXT, and then this week the rumor was no, he was backstage behind AEW. So say Scott D'Amore did run NXT, does that sway Josh Alexander? He was committed to TNA because of Scott. Does he stick around then because if Scott does get signed to NXT? Be something I'd be interested in seeing what the fallout of that is.
Does this affect your working relationship with other like indie promotions?
TNA or
TNAs? Like, can they still do Maple Leaf or other outside?
Yeah, I mean, they're not like WWE still has the ID program that they're partnered with. They have a deal with Pro Wrestling Noah that they have people going over there and working with. So to me, I just think that adding TNA just gives a true American-based promotion that they can work with and have talent go back and forth with, right? And give opportunities. Dreamer brought this up on Busted Open, but like, say there's a ton of men and women both in NXT from a roster standpoint that are getting TV reps. Well, now you can have them go over to TNA and get involved in a storyline and work in front of a crowd, work in front of a TV audience, get those reps in that are so desperately needed because NXT doesn't do a lot of touring, right? So you can have them. And then from the TNA side, you can have those people that are maybe more established and have more of a star attached to their name, but now they can go from, say, a 1 or 2 star person. Now you can get them into a 3, 4, maybe even a 5-star person based off of working WWE, NXT, or main roster matches and stories and feuds. So,
and we'd even seen with this partnership in 2024, a lot of the TNA talent going to a performance center and working out. Just in general, just using the gym or taking a look at the ring. So that's going to help them out. Steve, you had brought up recently, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, that you said bookmark it, Joe Hendry's in the Rumble. I think now with this partnership, that's definitely happening.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe he'll come in at the Sean Spears number 10 spot. But yeah, no, he's definitely in for sure. Speaking of Genesis and the TNA WWE partnership, do we get any surprises on the card tomorrow night?
I mean, as soon as the announcement happened, they tagged the video and they tagged all the promotional graphics with not just TNA Genesis, they put the NXT logo underneath it. So you got to have something. If you're going to advertise NXT forward, you got to do something with it. And then this Thursday, so they're also this Thursday, and then I think sometime in February, they're going to be live for Impact. So they're testing that out. So you have opportunities now instead of all of Impact being taped and spoiling, possibly, the crossover ability with these live episodes. You have that potential now, like you have for NXT, to be completely surprised on who shows up.
Yeah. We won't run through the whole card here for TNA for Genesis. The 3 matches that has my interest peaked the most. One is Moose versus Ace Austin for the X Division title. To me, that's the classic big man, small man matchup. Ace is really good in the ring.
He's one of my favorites.
He's grown on me from a microphone standpoint. And Moose is what Moose does. Moose has grown on me, since he's been in TNA. He's changed his physique and everything else. The character works for him. So I'm looking forward to that match. You have Santana and Alexander that we mentioned earlier, right? We'll see what that non-title feud actually looks like. Hopefully, it's not just a one-off with Alexander leaving. Nick Nemeth versus Joe Hendry for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. To me, if you got the Rumble coming up in 2 weeks, right? Hendry's going to be in it. Why not have him come out as your TNA Heavyweight Champion?
Yeah.
That just makes all the sense in the world.
We've said this for the past 2 pay-per-views.
Yeah, but they got to pull the. I mean,
they have
got to pull the trigger. And Nemeth has re-signed with TNA, so he's not going anywhere. He's re-signed. And then lastly,
what's the JPL factor?
For me, the match of the night arguably was going to be up there on my Mount Rushmore this week for the way it went down on Thursday night. But Jordan Grace and Tessa Blanchard, that match is just going to be phenomenal between those two. It may be Jordan's last. We don't know. Obviously, a lot of things up in the air. But what they've done and how they've heated this feud up, Thursday night was just the cherry on top of the Sunday as far as just that pure hatred and disdain for each other coming across the screen. It was a knockout, drag-out brawl between them two. Both women, whether they hate each other or not, work, shoot, don't matter, but I am all here for that match. That match has me wanting to buy the card itself.
It ended the show. I mean, that tells you where they consider it right now.
Yeah, potentially, first match back in TNA for Tessa, potentially last match back for Jordan. Both carried the Knockouts division at a time and place when they were in TNA. There's history there. There's beef there.
The company.
There's animosity there, right? Like, it's everything that you need from a story standpoint in pro wrestling, you have in that match.
Yep.
And both women can flat out go in the ring. So I expect big things from them too, for that in that regard. So, all right. So there was the first half of our wrestling roulette wheel. We got 3 more topics to get into, but let's jump into some Mount Rushmores this week. Go with some positivity here and see what you guys had as the best aspect of the week in pro wrestling this week. So, Chris, we'll kick it off with you. Who was on your Mount Rushmore this week?
All right. Before we get into my official Mount Rushmore for the week, I just want to do an honorary shout out for Mount Rushmore to WWE Hall of Famer Bob Uecker passed away this week. MLB Hall of Famer. Bob Uecker is known for being a baseball announcer in the WWE world. He's known for his appearances in WrestleMania 3 and 4. I mean,
actor.
Just incredible comedian, and play-by-play guy. Enjoyed him in everything, especially in the major league movies. But, just a shout out to him, passing away at the age of 90.
I never knew he was a real baseball announcer until later in life.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Nope.
Yeah.
5 decades.
I will say I was in my late 30s.
Did you know he was a baseball player first?
No. I just know him from wrestling in Major League and in movies. Yeah.
That's in his MLB Hall of Fame induction speech. That's my favorite line. He jokes about how bad of a player he was, and he goes, Skip said to me, he goes, go pick up a bat and kill this rally. Well, like the best lines for Hall of Fame speech, but just shout out to him. Yeah. But my real Mount Rushmore for the week is going to be from Stardom New Year's Stars, Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena versus the Kayla. Great match. Stardom's one of those things I've been wanting to watch more, and actually taking the time to watch this makes me want to watch it more, because watching Wrestle Kingdom a couple weeks ago, watching Wrestle Dynasty afterwards, this match was that strong style New Japan style match that I was hoping for at those shows and I didn't get. So it's like, if this is more of what Stardom does, I definitely want to watch more of this in the future.
I think Stardom, because it's in Japan and time difference and everything else, but from a promotional standpoint, they have probably the most consistent product, arguably, out of any promotion. And it's like hands down. So, I'm not going to shy away from any where he gets brought up. Yeah, to have that match on your Mount Rushmore this week. It sounds like Donald just sunk into a beanbag chair. What is
Right.
going on over there? Either that or he's shuffling around all his papers that he has for his list of grievances that he's going to get off his chest. But yeah, not mad with that pick, Chris, to be on your Mount Rushmore this week.
No, definitely a match I really enjoyed this week.
Jason, Mount Rushmore for you this week.
So does anybody have Penta Gable?
So I had Penta as, just overall, but
I have a 1B.
no, you can go. You can rock with it. That's fine. Yeah, you can rock with it.
Okay. The 1B, Kevin Owens, man. Everything he's doing is some level.
Dawn, you okay over there?
Check your battery. Mute your microphone. Jesus.
So loud over there.
I
He's like, get
had
all
to
the shit
reset
off.
everything, so everything is. It then plus it's still running on my phone. I don't want to end the show on my phone, but it might end the show on here, so I can't mute that at all. Fucking Christ, give me a fucking break.
Mike on 100.
My mic is down.
Push of the week is, but we can still hear you. But yeah, so Penta Gable, Jason.
1B was Kevin Owens. Everything he's doing right now, great. I'm loving that he's still playing as a champion. And his shirt last night was gold.
Yeah.
The Canadian son of a security tech.
Security systems technician. Yo, that and then they thank goodness for the internet at times, right? Because they did the screen grab and they did the shoot of Dusty's they did the shot of Dusty wearing the American Dream son of a plumber shirt, and Kevin Owens, like, it's literally the same exact shirt, same font, same format, same color, just with the Canadian Dream son of security systems technician. Like, absolutely tremendous stuff last night by KO. Fabulous.
Penta Gable, that match was awesome. Build this feud. I want to see this at Mania. Gable's the right guy to have a starting match with. I'm glad they didn't do the tag with Kofi.
Ray?
Yeah, Ray. Like this match was good. He was one Cyril Mero away from being on my jabroni list, so you know how much I hate that shit. But
I'd like to know how much time they actually gave him, like to learn the ring. Like how long has this been in the works? Because like he tried to do like that springboard off the bottom rope at one point and just went nowhere. It's just like, he hasn't done too much in the ring if he was trying to attempt that move. Like, someone should have at least given him the heads up on a couple of the moves. Like, hey, don't expect to do this. The ropes are different here than what you're used to.
Yeah.
I mean, they bumping him off the main Raw show and putting him in San Jose, where he's familiar to the audience there. I mean, there were plenty of shots on Twitter going around, or X, of people live in the crowd, and the pop that Penta got was definitely there. Like, that wasn't a Mike Fed pop. He had the crowd there. They went bananas for him. I mean, we talked about this with Jacob Fatu and some of the other people that have come in, as far as like making them feel like a big deal.
Yeah,
Penta was made to feel like a big deal. Like,
and you could tell from his daughter's reaction, this meant something. So like this was a goal.
Bro, did you know Penta could cut a promo in English like that? Because AEW certainly didn't put him out there to cut a promo in English like that.
He sounded like a lawyer.
Where's Marvez? I was expecting him to
I was
talk.
expecting him with a shovel would come out.
Yeah, no, everything about that from the entrance. I don't really like the theme song. I'm gonna give it a couple more weeks here to see if it grows on me. The Lucha Bros entrance theme in AEW was just such a good song, and it was so recognizable.
A friend of ours texted me on Tuesday and said, "It's not many times I'm going to give AEW the credit over WWE, but Penta's entrance in AEW is far better than WWE.
Theme music wise, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, of course.
But I mean, and I didn't even care that the debut got spoiled earlier by the release of the merch after I saw everything. Like initially, I'm like, okay, I got something to put WWE on my mush of the week this week. But you spoiled the wrestler's debut by dropping the merch. But after everything that I saw, I have no complaints.
But we knew it. Like they had the week before, they at least said Penta was coming, so like it wasn't a complete spoiler. But
bro had 2 shirts and a mask released day one. AEW had him for 4 freaking years and didn't put one mask out.
I mean, it's what they're. It definitely felt like with Penta, like we've talked about, like Dragon Lee could be the potential, the next incarnation of a Ray. It definitely seems like they're pushing Penta to be that. So we'll see how it plays off.
Well, now that you brought it up, I'll cross that topic off the wrestling roulette wheel because the debut of Penta itself.
The pen.
Yeah, the pen. The debut of Penta crossed off by the pen himself. In the first 15 hours that it was up, it garnered 2.6 million views.
Okay.
The merch was number 1, number 2 as far as t-shirt sales. Don't know what the mask did. Is he slotted like as the next Ray? Like you touted him up as the best. Yes. You touted him up as the best luchador. Michael Cole said on the broadcast he's a close second to Rey Mysterio. So like the person I feel bad for is Phoenix. Because Phoenix to me fits the Rey Mysterio role more than Penta does.
And he feels like more of that. He does, like Ray had that connection with the kids.
Yeah.
I feel like Dragon Lee had that when he initially came in with the mask. He had the whole Ray Mystique down when he first came in.
Yeah, we'll put him
I'm never do that with Penta. He's too
Dragon Lee is the speed champion on X, and he hasn't wrestled on TV since November.
I don't know what they're doing with him.
So,
but I brought this up with like Solo and Jacob. You bring in Phoenix at some point, like whenever he's cleared to come in, you can do the same thing. Solo can be on the show, Jacob can be on the show, Penta can be on the show, Ray can be on the show, and you have that on both. It's not like you got to put them together. They can both each carry a brand.
I am going to need and while I agree with you, because Penta and Ray, which shout out Michael Cole for the Lucha Underground reference on Monday night. Both of those were single in Lucha Underground. They both were Lucha Underground champion. They both had their own individual identities and stories and characters that worked on Lucha Underground. So singles wise, yes, they can both be single stars. There's no doubt about that.
And Penta did run in TNA.
Yeah, I am going to need though. I do need one Lucha Bros run in WWE as tag team.
Yeah,
I have to have it. But
you could almost, if you do it right, it's not the same, but like the branding behind it and like the way that you make a special moment out of it, it could almost be like a modern Brothers of Destruction. They do their own thing, then you bring them together from time to time, to have that special match.
I'll wait on the whole thing because remember a couple of years ago, Dragon Lee was the hot stuff, and look what happened to him. So I will slam on the brakes and wait before
look at Andrade too.
Yeah, I mean, before calling anybody the next Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. All right, so that was another topic off the wrestling roulette wheel. Donald, back to you for your Mount Rushmore this week.
My Mount Rushmore comes from AEW, the Women's Gauntlet. They did a tremendous job, and they are always put in that same time slot. So I feel bad for the women because they're always in that same slot all the time. They have to rush for the main event. They put on a show. They put on a performance. Probably the best thing AEW has right now are those women. So I'm giving them their due.
I thought Mariah May was absolutely phenomenal on the commentary desk during that match. With every person that came out. When Megan Bain debuted, Mariah May was tremendous. What are you talking about? Does she even have a graphic? Does she have a graphic? Tony Khan, put up her graphic. Like, it was tremendous. I will say I hated the way that they used Megan Bain because What do we know about these casino gauntlet type matches? They debut somebody and make them into a big deal, right? Brian Cage won one, right? You have people that come into the company debut and they win this type of match. Megan was just out there to be a part of the match. And if you're debuting somebody, you don't debut them and just make them be background noise for the match.
Exactly.
You have to spotlight them. A la, look, WWE spotlighted Penta, right? You build it up with face mask graphics for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you have this phenomenal debut, and it's stars made. Between Camille and Megan, I have no hope as far as them being able to debut women and make them mean something for that.
Is Megan officially in AEW? Like, is she all elite?
Officially signed?
And she came in with aura.
Where does she come from? Like, again, I'm not familiar with her work, so.
She's wrestled in Mexico, but she's been in Japan. She's been in Stardom and that. So she's legit. Like, you bring in Zarya and Julia and Vakir. Like, Megan Bain is a counterpoint to those. Legitimately. Like, I'm not hyping her up and trying to put her over more because AEW failed to do that on Wednesday night. But, like, even commentary just didn't, like, when she came out, they didn't do her justice. Like,
no. Who's this?
Yeah, the aura, the charisma, the presence is all there from her.
Mariah May put her over more than the announcers did.
Right? Like,
they're probably friends. Ridiculous. That's probably why.
But on TV, that's not your job right there. That's the announcer's job to do that.
So, like,
while the needs real help too.
While the match itself was good, Donald, I agree with you, but like, just that part, like, that just stuck out to me. Like, why are you doing this? And for me, that was the only bright spot of AEW on Wednesday night, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, so for me, my Mount Rushmore, we already talked about the Penta debut and everything else, but I might just put him up here and just leave him up here until there's something that actually makes him fall off. But Jacob Fatu, again, last night. Again, like, just him walking down to the ring and standing on the apron and just looking.
Enough. That's enough.
Yeah. Then he gets in the ring, does the shtick, the gimmick, the beatdown, whatever. But the mic, the promo, like, moves wise in the ring, he's golden. Where he separates himself is on the mic. And Chris, we talked about this. You had mentioned this originally whenever he first debuted, because his promos in MLW were not always the PGS promos. Were not always, from a language perspective, promos on television. But man, the dude does not miss on the microphone. Everything he said last night was just pure gold. And, like, you have a star of stars right there. He's going to continue to outshine everybody he's in there with on a regular basis. And forget Rock Roman. Forget Solo and Jacob. I need Jacob and Roman now. Like, that's what I need. That to me, Jacob is a multi-time WrestleMania main eventer. He's a Royal Rumble winner, which may be spoiler alert. Yeah, like, I'm doing everything with Jacob Fatu right now. I'm selling every asset that I have, and I'm putting it into the Jacob Fatu stock fund.
Money in the bank. Heyman guy. He's going to be all of it. He's going to be
king of the ring.
It's just, I want every production truck just to have his face on it. Forget everybody else. Just put Jacob's face on it, right? Like, just everything. Like, Jacob Fatu, hands down, is really starting to show him separating the pack. Like, he did it before just with looks, right?
That's it.
And again, going back to debuts. How did he debut? He took out Cody Rhodes and a couple other people in one of the best beatdown segments ever.
And Corey put him over like hell too.
So now we're just continuing to ascend. The stars continue to rise, and yeah, Fatu for me, hands down, Mount Rushmore this week.
I saw one of
From a
DJ's
promo.
question. I saw one of DJ's questions said, "Does Strowman and Fatu tickle your fancy?" No, it don't, because I hate Strowman. Strowman is terrible, and he shouldn't match up with him.
But bro, we saw the stare down and the face down a couple weeks ago. Whenever they two, like it's Jacob, like it's literally Jacob.
Yeah,
You can run out Gilbert and stand him across from Jacob Fatu right now, and I would buy both nights of WrestleMania to see it. Like it's just Jacob right now. Like
last night, I definitely saw where you guys were talking about that of Solo and Jacob at Mania this year. Like, definitely seemed like that's the direction last night.
Yeah. So yeah, Jacob Fatu, Mount Rushmore this week. All right, so there you have it. Those were our Mount Rushmores this week. Let's get into the last two wrestling roulette topics. Or actually, let's do one wrestling roulette topic, mushes, and then we'll finish up the wrestling roulette wheel before we get into our game. So the last wrestling roulette topic here, Corey Graves tweet seen around the internet this week with a shoot style tweet, which was then later deleted. He was sent home from NXT on Tuesday night. Conflicting reports all week. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? Saw some stuff saying that he wanted to get fired, which is why he said what he said. He's generally unhappy and does not feel like he should be in NXT right now. He expressed that in his tweet himself. I'm not going to read the tweet verbatim. You can go back out and check it out. But my question to you guys is, work or shoot, which route is better? And what do you want to see come about from this with Corey Graves?
To me, it's a work. We'll see. Like at least Tuesday, whenever he tweeted that out, that he had some things to get off his chest on NXT. Just like that wouldn't have been something to say if it wasn't already approved. So it's like that made me think it's a work. I thought with Pat being off this upcoming Monday, Corey was going to show up on Monday. And then whenever they announced JBL, I was like, oh, I guess JBL's doing the announcing. And then last night, Wade said he's filling in for Pat this week. So,
well, and these whole
Corey versus Jacob.
Yeah,
I mean, they could easily do. It easily seems like you could do a Corey Pat match at Mania.
Well, that would be the nearest conclusion, right? If this happened maybe a couple of weeks ago, I would say the Rumble, because the Rumble's in Indy. We know Pat lives in Indy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, put Pat in a match with Corey at the Rumble in Indy. But yeah, Mania, you could definitely see it. I agree there from a work standpoint.
Because you could say Corey's sent home at the moment, and then he can just show up at any time and kind of just.
But here, like, my gripe with the internet people, with all you fake news media outlets out there, your Ringside News and everybody else with your clickbaity bullshit titles that you're putting up. Pat McAfee was never scheduled to be on Raw this week. It's the national championship. He has College Game Day. He does the simulcast on ESPN2 during the game. He was not going to be on Raw.
They got you to talk about, though, didn't they? That's the point of clickbait.
It's just like, I saw it. I'm just like, and I freaking tweeted it out, calling it out. I'm like, this is the bullshit that I hate about the wrestling, quote unquote, journalism and sites out there. And everything.
What do you do, though?
You're reporting BS stuff that's not true at all, and you're running it as a legitimate story. But if you just actually paid attention and saw how things are, you would know that you can't even run that story. And then there's no accountability for you to put a retraction out there or to say this is wrong. We didn't, like, if you're going to come across as a news media outlet and a news journalist, then legitimately go out there and say when you got it wrong.
You don't have to now.
Accountability.
Yeah, and that's gone. That ain't happening ever again.
Accountability. Ooh.
Yeah, like and that's why if I'm stating facts on here, I'm actually going off of multiple sources that reported the same thing. But we always preference stuff with allegedly, right? Or whatever the case may be, because
rumor is.
Yeah, rumor has it, etc. We're not out there touting this is story from facts from sources that I've spoken to directly. You guys are running stories out there like you're freaking.
They hit the pavement.
Yeah, like
TMZ, they jumping off the trash cans. I got it.
Now the funny thing was this week, Corey was announced for a local Pittsburgh show. His dad's the one putting on the show. So it's like that's no surprise that he's affiliated with it, but you just rarely get that whenever you're signed with WWE a lot of times. So
we get Pat and Corey down Smallman Street.
Brawl under the bridge.
Right next to the Permanis, right there.
No Permanis. We're hanging a Turner's Tea above the ladder. You got to climb up and grab the gallon jug.
You got to climb the Turner crate to get up to there.
There you go. Now you're thinking.
So, all right. Well, we'll see what unfolds more with this Graves aspect, right? Work, shoot, who knows? We know that wrestling's the best when you blur the lines between the work and the shoot. Yep. I will say, though, if it's a legitimate shoot, I understand why he has the gripe that he has.
Oh, for sure.
1,000%. Regardless if it's a direct shot at McAfee, which I don't think it's a direct shot at Pat. I know those two come off as beefing with each other on air, right, as a work already. But like to do what he did, to step up the way he has, to take over the reins and be a lead commentator and everything else, he's arguably one of the best that does it currently. And to say, okay, we're just going to move you to NXT to be a part of a 3-man booth now, no, not going to happen. So. Again, I can't see the comments. The chat is completely blank on my end, but
yeah. I hear that. Hey, that would need some commentators. Yeah, I can see the chat, but everything on my end is very, very delayed. So, sorry.
All right,
might be the last show on Restream.
So, with the work shoot aspect here with Graves and that, let's get into the mushes this week. Prior to us leading into our last wrestling roulette topic. Jason, what do you have for your mush of the week this week?
Oh, there were so many. I'll just go with Marsha Slamovich. Just the presentation from NXT. Like you just have her sitting in the crowd. Like bring her out. Give her the pop. Do something. You just have a champion sitting in the crowd and you just cut to her.
But that's what NXT used to do.
Mm-hmm. And then you have
NXT used to do. They showed a big new signee in the crowd. That was the basis for NXT. That was the pop back whenever the original Black and Gold brand was live.
That's all WWE does now.
And you have her like in the worst spot. You have her off the ramp. So when she has the interaction with Cora, you can't even cut that right.
Obafemi in the crowd on Raw. I mean,
that's good. Me and Dawn talked about that because, like, why do you have Braun Breaker, who's an active talent, in the crowd? Like, you paying a ticket for a show he's on just to watch a match that's involving him when you could be on commentary.
Or like he's a free agent or legend.
Or watch it on the screen in the back.
Yeah. So, not necessarily Slamovich herself being in NXT. It was the presentation of her.
Presentation of her.
Just a presentation.
I get it.
Yeah. When we went down to NXT Dallas, me and Chris, remember the guys next to us, they broke the story about Bobby Roode being there. Remember that they were saying that? They were like, oh, yeah, we knew he was being there, you know? And then WWE took our info and broke the story. Okay, guys.
And then we couldn't even see him, like, because it was like all the same level, so you can't see anything. But
Chris, your mush of the week.
I got two. The main one for the week is AEW Grand Slam Australia. We announce it, and then it's supposed to be a big show. Then we announce it that's going to be on TNT on Saturday, February 15th, 8 p.m., which is like a huge tape delay because it'll be taped like 2 a.m. our time, in Australia. So instead of like airing it live on Max or something, and then to find out that's the same night as the NBA All-Star game on TNT, so it's going to get bumped from that. Like, say what you want, on comparisons, but that's some shit that WWE just wouldn't let happen. They might got bumped for the dog show, but you knew weeks in advance that they were getting booked for a dog show. They weren't advertising something.
And not only that, but when AEW Grand Slam from Australia actually airs here, it'll be 21 hours after the event took place. So damn near a whole day's worth. You think spoilers aren't going to come out from that?
Right?
Is Indy Hartwell's contract up?
What'd you say, Jay?
Is Indy Hartwell's contract up?
Yeah, no, she's still under her no compete. I'm not sure when it expires.
I don't remember when it was that she got released.
But again, don't debut her there because she'll just, she'll show up on collision tapings that'll air 16 hours after the 21-hour tape delay on Monday morning instead of Saturday night.
That's actually a good question there, Jason. I don't remember if that was a release or if her contract was just expired. Because if her contract's expired, she could go anywhere, technically.
Indy was a release.
I thought that was a release, yeah. Because she was.
Yeah, Indy was a release.
Because she was shocked in it, remember?
Corbin's expired.
I saw Corbin's fighting at that Josh Barnett thing,
GCW. Yeah, Corbin will be at GCW first match. But yeah, no, Grand Slam, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, like, we advertise this as like a big deal, and then went out with a bang, turned into a whimper. It's all.
I like how whenever Tony won, not even 1 second, the graphic went up like her and Mariah are fighting, like real big, just instantly up there. It was like, damn, y'all can't give it a little breath, just instantly put it up there. Hurry up, gotta get to the main event.
And my 1B for the week for Mush. We talked last week about Rock killing kayfabe. Come on, Triple H. This week, you put out a video of you directing Jacob Fatu's entrance on social media. Like this, you want a name for this era? It's the fuck kayfabe era. Come on, like I get it. Like it's stuff that they've done in the past, like in documentaries and everything. So I get it. Like, but just don't completely ruin all of it. Like,
yeah, I saw that and just shook my head.
Yeah,
shook my head for sure. Donald, what you got mush of the week?
My mush comes from NXT with Stephanie Valkyrie. She went into the back room and then they cut to commercial. So it looked like she was on a mission to find somebody. So the whole time the commercial is running and you're watching the NXT screen and she's going there pushing everybody. She finally makes it to JC and she grips her up and puts her up against the wall and she says something. Well, you can't hear what's happening because the commercial is blaring. So she throws her to the ground, and it looks like she's trying to, picture, and it looks like she's trying to find Fallon and Jasmine. So she goes through, she's asking people where they're at, but again, you can't hear nothing because of the picture, the commercials blaring. I hear more about Cialis and Gardner and everything else, except something that is more integral to the story.
I wonder if you could hear it on Netflix.
But
no, because it says.
But the whole time she was talking to people and you could not hear a single word she said. She even ran into Ethan Page and they had a little exchange. Again, you can't hear nothing. That is a huge mush. That is something really integral to the story with Fatal Influence and Stephanie Valkyrie, and you don't know what happened.
Not only that, Donald, but to piggyback on your mush, just the whole story and match surrounding the number one contendership for the North American title. You had Stephanie win the gauntlet. Shotzi comes in because she pinned Fallon, so she should get a match. Then they make them two wrestle, but Stephanie still has her match. They wrestle to see who would wrestle the champion first, and then Stephanie loses. So now Shotzi has her shot first at the title, but Stephanie still has her title, but she's mad because she got cost the match. It's just none of that makes sense.
Yeah.
On top of going into picture-in-picture and have people doing what you just laid out from a story perspective. Like that whole build and segment on Tuesday night was bad. Absolutely bad. 1,000%. So yeah, I got no qualms with that being on a mush this week. I immediately thought the same thing. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why is this even a thing right now? So, my mush this week, and which is as long as I'm keeping Jacob Fatu up on the Mount Rushmore list for as long as he decides to so be it. AEW is going to continue to be my mush.
Let's sit back.
AEW this week. What are we doing? What are we doing? You had MJF and Jeff Jarrett out there for 14 minutes of one of the worst wrestling segments I've seen in my entire life of watching professional wrestling. It was worse than the Cody weigh-in with Anthony Ogogo and the Big Show. It made that seem like it was Rock Austin contract signing. Like that's how bad that's how bad MJF and Jeff Jarrett were. It was your mother's a whore, your girlfriend's a whore, your wife's a whore, this, that, the other. You don't need me, I need you, blah, 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 blah. 14 minutes for MJF and Jeff Jarrett is unacceptable in 2025. First off,
the show.
Second off, you want to talk about just an absolute Haley's Comet of a fizzle out burn. MJF star is completely gone. It's gone. There's nothing there. Nothing there.
We should have went to WWE.
Wash, rinse, repeat with the same uninteresting, unboring, non-investment of character development. That's MJF.
Go, Chris.
No, God, Dawn.
He always grabs the low-hanging fruit.
Always.
Constantly.
Cheap pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They're doing
talking about just
drinking. They're doing the WWE stuff with him. Like they want you to know what you're going to get with him. Because Steve, I understand where you're coming from on it, but I've seen a lot of people talk about MJF online where they know what they're going to get, and that's why they like watching them. And I think that's why AEW is doing what they do. It's kind of like the WWE mentality. He goes out there, you know what he's going to say, and giving the people what they want, instead of changing it up.
But how many people are you actually giving that want that?
Not here.
And if you're gonna give me that, one, he has to be more creative. He can still do the same stick, but be more creative with it. And two, he got to be across from people that the stick actually works on. Just because you can throw out low-hanging fruit zingers to Jeff Jarrett because he was an alcoholic and everything else, like that's like making Jeff Hardy pee on himself, like they did on SmackDown whenever they went through the whole drinking storyline with him. Like it's just, or having Scott Hall come out on Nitro, but he was actually drunk on Nitro. Like he went overboard and played into the gimmick too much when he was actually showed up drunk. Like, don't.
Yeah.
But why are we putting this much time and effort into Jeff Jarrett? Like, listen, I'm fine with Jeff. Like,
the last outlaw.
I've been enjoying him,
but like, why are we making this the year of Jeff Jarrett? Like, he's not Cena, he's not Tanahashi. Like, yeah, Jeff Jarrett's been an integral part of wrestling for a number of years. But
slap nuts, boy.
Come on,
but you took the shine and the fanfare that Jeff Jarrett had built up over the last 6 months of last year, and that segment on Wednesday night killed it. It just made him seem to be an out of touch, old head wrestling guy that can't cut a promo the way he used to, and everything else. Like, no. On top of that, not to mention other things from Wednesday night, continuing on my soapbox of mush. Jericho's New York Minute, again, one of the worst segments I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, what's going on with
But we're
Ring of
continue
Honor?
to roll him out there.
If he's the Ring of Honor champ because we're trying to get a TV deal, this needs to hurry up soon because it's Brandon's.
Not only that, but you have him pitch this 12-man tag match for the main event of Collision.
A 12-man.
12-man tag. The Learning Tree and the Death Riders, because Chris Jericho and Moxley have been buddy since they've been in AEW. And Jericho's like, and Moxley, we will be on the same page. Like,
Oh,
no, you
gosh.
won't. To go against Coke, FTR, rated FTR, the Outrunners, because they just continue to get beat down by the Death Riders each week, and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Can they coexist?
You got buried.
For basketball reasons. Who on Wednesday night got force-fed to John Moxley for no reason at all.
Buried.
In addition to that, Christian Cage wrestles Hook because Christian Cage took out Taz. Taz is back on commentary on Wednesday night, and you want to know what Taz mentions? Nothing of the attack. Not one single thing. While his son is wrestling the guy who took his knee out, who put him on a shelf.
It's not ready
Only to have Samoa Joe come back and return. To have Nick Wayne do some of the worst bumping I've ever seen in pro wrestling. He literally, at one point, Joe threw him over the top ropes. He landed on an apron, and then he proceeded to jump down to the floor himself. What are we doing?
Two things I saw this week was a lot of people talking about how Christian Cage's current stories has been getting stale because they're not doing anything with him. And then two, they feel like he shouldn't even cash in on AEW title. He should just cash in on Jericho's Ring of Honor title.
I don't give a shit where he cashes it. You ruined the father of the year. The patriarchy of all patriarchs. The dad who celebrated worldwide on Father's Day. You took that man and you ruined it. In addition to that,
Steve Camp said that we need a "What are we doing?" shirt.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That'll be up on ProWrestlingTees.com/DunmarksPod.
Hey DJ, he already announced on Raw after winning that he wasn't going to be on Raw till the 27th. So he did at least give you a heads up on when he'd be on again.
Yeah. But I mean, all that thrown together, and then the piece de resistance, the crowd was just freaking dead. That might as well have been a Thunderdome crowd where we just had screens in the background because there was not a single bit of audience reaction. When Kenny Omega comes out for the first time in 2 years, and it sounded like this. Silence, because you couldn't hear a pop at all.
I don't know if they need to mic their crowd or something, because
it wouldn't matter.
It hasn't come off good in a while.
No, it hasn't.
Like, because I mean, and we talked about it from when me and Steve went in October, that the crowd did not come off good on TV, but in the audience, it sounded good.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with the audio in the arena or in the crowd or whatever that isn't making it come off the way it should? It's one thing, like we talked about last week, where you guys thought that the crowd just wasn't doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it played out the way it looked. But I don't know. There's a lot that needs to change, but that's something that they need to look into. Like, if you want this to be a sport, you hear the crowd at sporting events. Like, NBA is a big thing for TNT. You hear the crowd at the NBA games. Like, maybe like Turner Sports needs to work with AEW a little bit better to make things seem a little bit better on TV.
So those are the mushes of the week.
We did talk about this a little bit. Joe Henry was one of them.
Yeah, Joe Hendry.
Bring Nick Nemeth back.
You got to wait till Rumble predictions.
Yeah, we'll
that's a part of
Rumble predictions.
Jason, that's what I wondered. Like, okay, so he's Nick Nemeth. What does he come out as? Rumble.
Come out, Nick Nemeth. He's not signed under WWE.
Nick Nemeth, formerly known as.
Hey, look, if
So-
Zack Ryder show up, he's still gonna be Zack Ryder. I don't care. Still Zack Ryder. I don't care. It's all the guy.
My last wrestling roulette comment, which will then lead into our game for the week this week. Dave Meltzer last week. If you watched the show last week, right before we went off there was a comment that I saw online from Meltzer, and I plugged it and saved it and told you guys that we would add it to the wrestling roulette wheel this week. So Dave Meltzer last week said, "There is no one in WWE who can match the Kenny Omega of January 5th. Even on their best day, there's nobody." Oh, it's you guys. Is there anybody in WWE that can match Kenny Omega?
January 5th,
So what happened
January
January 5th?
the Wrestle Dynasty event.
Wrestle
versus him and
Dynasty.
Gabe Kidd.
Him and
It
Gabe
has to
Kidd.
be on January 5th. It has to be that day. That must have been the criteria.
What I tell you about Meltzer? Somebody from the 70s who don't need to be running his damn mouth anymore about wrestling.
Like
I'm not even going to acknowledge the question.
the holes in the jeans on the knees of Meltzer when it comes to AEW is just unbelievable.
He was in the stall too.
Like, look, granted, is Kenny Omega absolutely amazing bell to bell? Yes. But to say that there's nobody in WWE that is on his level, even on their best day, is just flat out wrong.
Is Chad Gable great bell to bell? But you wouldn't want to put those two together. You wouldn't want to make those comparisons, but Chad Gable's up there.
I mean, last I checked, AJ Styles is still under contract in WWE, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Seth Rollins is still under contract in WWE, right? Gunther is under contract with WWE, right? Hell, I mean, this is a bit of a stretch given that it's been a short period of time, but from a match quality standpoint, Ilya Dragunov has done nothing but throw bangers on TV since he's been in WWE.
True.
And then go back and watch his NXT UK stuff and really see it.
And you talk about that hard-hitting New Japan style that Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega gave us on January 5th. Give me. I'll put any of the Ilya and Walter matches from NXT UK up against that match, and you tell me that neither one of those guys can hold a candle to Kenny Omega.
What was that their 2020 match? Like
the one in the UK?
Whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was during COVID, yeah.
And that wasn't even Ozempic Walter. That was Big Walter.
That was Powerhouse Walter.
That was Waffle House Walter.
Yeah.
But so, and this isn't a shot made at Omega, because we would all, if you did a Mount Rushmore of pro wrestlers from 2010 to now, Omega's on damn near everybody's Mount Rushmore list. But to say that nobody can hold a candle to him in WWE is just that's crazy, like absolutely crazy. And with that being said, to lead into our game this week, since we buried Mount Rushmore a lot, got a little bit of Fix It Felix. So, gentlemen, given the current state, champions, etc., roster, what are you doing to rebuild AEW right now? How are you fixing AEW? What needs to happen in your eyes to make AEW that clear-cut number 2 alternative that was getting over 1 million people watching week in, week out, and people were excited to talk about AEW?
Number one thing is Tony can't book anymore.
100%.
All right. Tony Khan can't book. We're gonna write these down.
Yeah, that's number one.
We'll write these down.
Because no matter what you do, if that's still the same, it's not going to matter.
You can take
TK no booking. All right. TK no booking, number 1. And then we'll make this as a consensus list, right? We can give thumbs up or thumbs down. We don't have to each give our own individual fix. This is just more of a we'll do this more of a collab. So TK no booking. What's number 2?
You need to go back into the way it was in the beginning, where the talent had more control over everything. I felt like each match and the storylines came off more organic than it is right now.
So get back to storytelling.
TNA has the X division, and I thought AEW we've talked about on here. AEW should have had the tag division to make you tune in. Like that needs to be the focus again. At least a focus.
Number 3, get an identity.
Get Moxley off my fucking screen. Get Jericho off my fucking screen.
Number 4, utilize
talent better.
talent properly.
I can keep going, but you guys please chime in.
I already said lose 3 threat. I was like,
To me, you gotta stay in the smaller venues for right now.
Yes, right now.
Until
You gotta
Until you outgrow them.
yeah.
The women needs featured a lot more on television.
So that goes back to utilize talent.
Okay, yeah.
Stay in smaller venues. I think another thing that they need to go back to, quarterly pay-per-views.
Yes.
Yes.
Maximum Carnage was a maximum dud. And the fact that you ran 2 nights of it and now Collision, which take place 4 days later, is still Maximum Carnage. No, we're not stretching week-long events now. Like, no.
Yeah.
So number 6. Quarterly.
They're just trying to be WWE light at this time, and they're not trying to be the good WWE.
So again, that goes back to get an identity.
Yeah. The announce team needs improved.
Stabilize your announcers.
There's a lot that can be fired.
I have no idea who I'm going to hear on Wednesday night outside of Excalibur.
No. Tony Schiavone needs to go off the announce team.
I've been said that.
The
better person he was there for is long gone. So yeah, you're not needed no more.
You give me Excalibur and Taz, or Excalibur and
Nigel,
or Ikebani. Is that his name?
Yeah, Ian Riccaboni.
Riccaboni. You give me like the 2-man booth like that. Like if you want to change it up, have Excalibur on one of them for Dynamite, and then a different 2-man booth for Collision. Cool, but
DJ said, "Get the AEW commentators off the hard cam."
Well, they showed this week on Wednesday night. They were showing, I forget for what match it was. Oh, it was Ricochet. When Ricochet was out in the ring, that was another thing that was just bad. Was the segment with him and Swerve, just the way that it looked like Ricochet running out the arena through the door, Swerve then standing out in the cold and then coming back in, Nana hitting one medium strength chair shot and then immediately going into the Nana dance. It's just like, what are we doing?
That's that Hogan chair shot.
That's all that's his job. That's all he does.
But back to the announcers. The announcers on the hard cam, Ricochet's in the ring, and Taz is on commentary talking about, somebody said something about scissors, and Taz cracked a joke. And you see Excalibur, you see Taz crack the joke, Excalibur and Schiavone immediately start laughing while the hard cam is on them from the shot. So, like, it wasn't released afterwards where, like, McAfee will say something and it'll pop Cole when you see him hit the mute button so he's not heard. But like,
that's what I was just about to ask. Did they mute themselves, or were they laughing like on TV too? So
I couldn't hear them laughing per se, but you could see them laughing. Like, it's you're cracking yourselves during the show, like to where it's live on air.
I mean, I'm cool with that, but yeah, don't mute yourselves if you're going to be laughing and being shown laughing.
So it's just all right. So we got TK no booking, get back to storytelling, get an identity, utilize talent properly, stay in smaller venues, quarterly pay-per-views, and stabilize your announce team.
I'm going to channel Donald, push younger talent.
Anything else?
I'm sure we can probably keep going.
Production a little bit better, camera shots and all that.
Hearing the crowd.
I think that's just the crowd. Because when you saw the crowd on Wednesday, they were just on their hands, like they were just watching like a movie theater. Nobody was moving or nothing. It was just straight stare at the ring. Just crowd.
All right, I think we got enough now. We got the list saved. We'll maybe we'll do an after dark episode where we take this and actually break it down and book some stuff. Who would we put as champions? What stories will we run, etc., and actually get deep dive into this list. So stay tuned for a Dumb Marks Pod after dark episode in regards to that. Not so no Judy Bagwell on a pool match, but you want to see the Viagra on a pool match?
Definitely not the exploding ring death match.
I forgot about that.
Anybody have any quick hitters?
Oh.
Nope, no quick hitters.
I got one. Why are we saving Swerve and Ricochet for February? We don't have to talk about it. Just put it out there.
Well, we know what that month is, and they are both.
Yep.
So,
Taekwon, how do you feel about that?
And why would they do it on a Wednesday when there's a pay-per-view coming up?
That's the other thing. Stop giving away all your matches on Dynamite. That's another thing we'll add to the list. Number 8. Stop giving away all your matches on Dynamite. All right, everybody. That was episode 222. Welcome to the big time. If you did not catch up on the title, that was the direct shot that Michael Cole threw out there to AEW on Monday night when Penta won his match. So Cole, again, tremendous. It's episode 222, covering everything that was the week in pro wrestling, Mush's, Mount Rushmore, Wrestling Roulette, etc. As always, tune in live each and every single Saturday at 11 a.m. for your favorite Saturday brunch bunch. Follow us on all social media platforms at DumbMarksPod. Head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/DumbMarksPod. Pick up some merch. Email the show, criticisms, critiques, likes, dislikes at DumbMarksPod@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, check the bell, and get notifications when we go live. And also for the audio-only edition, head on over to Spotify and check us out there. Gentlemen, lastly, anybody got anything else? Speak your piece before we leave with the quote of the week.
I'm okay.
I'm good.
All right, this week's quote of the week for a little positivity in your life. When you've reached the top, send the elevator back down for others. When you've reached the top, send the elevator back down for others. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in. I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, tell a Mark. Until next time.